Welcome to our discussion. Today we're diving into some really surprising numbers from the stablecoin world, specifically Tether's unprecedented US Treasury holdings.
Absolutely, it's quite a development. How do you see those numbers shaking out?
Well, Tether now holds a whopping $127 billion in US Treasuries, which is not something you'd expect from a private company in digital assets, surpassing sovereign holders like South Korea.
That's right. And if I recall correctly, they have $105.5 billion directly and another $21.3 billion indirectly, right?
Exactly, which amounts to a neat $7 billion increase from the previous quarter. It's like it's like they are not just following trends but actively setting a new benchmark for reserve
Yeah.
management.
And it's interesting to note that just a short while ago, they overtook Germany's Treasury holdings, reaching that milestone at around $120 billion.
Right. And now they've leaped ahead to become the 18th largest holder globally, which is unprecedented for a digital asset firm. I mean, think about it. Holding more US government debt than several advanced economies like Norway, India, and Brazil.
Yep, that really puts things into perspective. It almost makes you wonder about the stability and the trust factor among users.
True. And ironically, Tether's market cap is now at about $163.6 billion after a 19% surge in 2025, driven by this $26 billion increase in USDT issued this year. It seems that global demand for dollar-backed stablecoins is really surging.
It almost feels like the market is hedging its bets on something more traditional amid these digital revolutions, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. In a way, it's like they're bridging two worlds. On one hand, you have this digital asset expanding rapidly, and on the other, the asset is backed by some of the safest government debt out there.
Right. A neat juxtaposition indeed. But don't you think it also raises some eyebrows about the concentration of power? I mean, a private company holding treasury amounts that rival sovereign states?
That's a valid point. And to be honest, it does raise some concerns about systemic risk if, say, something unexpected happens. However, Tether argues that these holdings boost confidence in USDT's reserve backing, which is critical in the stablecoin ecosystem.
Yet, isn't it a bit counterintuitive that a private entity ends up being in such a significant position? It challenges traditional notions of monetary control.
True, and it's definitely a disruption. It's um, it's like having a major bank suddenly start competing with national treasuries in terms of holdings. I get the concern, but from another angle, it could also be seen as a natural evolution in global finance.
Yeah, I see your point. Though I wonder how regulators view this shift. It's not every day you see a digital asset company eclipse national holdings like South Korea's 124.2 billion. Am I right?
Exactly. And it's fascinating because prior to this, Tether had always been a bit on the sidelines when it came to such large scale treasury exposure. Now, they're not only matching but exceeding holdings of established economies.
And speaking of established economies, Tether is now close to catching up with Saudi Arabia, which holds $127.7 billion, right?
Yes, that's right. They're almost neck and neck with Saudi Arabia. It's as if Tether is forging its identity by aligning itself with major global monetary
Yeah.
flows.
It really makes you think about the dual nature of risk and trust in emerging financial technologies. With more treasury backing, trust skyrockets, but it also concentrates a lot of power in one stream.
Exactly. Trust is a double edged sword. On one hand, Tether CEO Paulo Arduino even celebrated this milestone by saying, "Told you so," which reflects a strong confidence in the company's direction.
Yep, that's quite bold. It suggests that the market has been receptive to Tether's strategy amid all the regulatory chatter.
For sure, and the numbers back it up. A 19% jump in market cap and a $26 billion issuance of USDT year to date clearly signal growing global demand for dollar backed stablecoins.
It's like a new wave of trust is being generated around stablecoins, especially when markets are looking for safe havens.
Exactly, and this trend also plays into the ongoing discussion between traditional finance and digital finance.
Yeah, speaking of which, do you think traditional institutions might eventually see digital assets like Tether as a viable alternative to fiat reserves?
It's possible, and the data is starting to show that confidence is building. Financial powerhouses are already curious about the stability provided by these massive treasury portfolios.
Right, that's a fair point. though I still wonder about the inherent risks of relying so heavily on government debt as a reserve while the digital market remains volatile.
I get that skepticism, but consider this. The US Treasury is historically one of the safest assets out there. It's like it's like a rock in a storm, providing a kind of stability that many other assets can't.
Yeah, fair enough. But that analogy must be balanced with the awareness that financial markets evolve. What happens if new regulatory measures or market disruptions impact these holdings?
Absolutely, and that's why continuous oversight is crucial. The interplay between regulatory frameworks and innovative financial practices is still unfolding. It's a delicate balancing act for Tether and others in the space.
It really is a fascinating case of digital assets meeting traditional finance on common ground. And as more traditional players enter the digital space, these kinds of numbers might just spark larger conversations.
Exactly, we're witnessing a potential paradigm shift. Tether's massive hold on US Treasuries not only underscores their growth, but could also redefine global monetary
Yep.
flows.
And knowing that even a slight misstep could have wide-reaching implications, it puts a spotlight on how strategic and careful Tether must be going forward.
Right? They've raised the bar for reserve transparency and backing. It's a courageous move that many believe will solidify trust in stablecoins, even as the digital market matures.
Agreed. And it'll be interesting to see how other stablecoin issuers respond. Will they ramp up similar strategies, or will Tether continue to hold a unique position in the market?
It remains to be seen, but Tether's bold strategy is undoubtedly a game changer. It's, um, it's like witnessing the evolution of a financial ecosystem right before our eyes.
Yeah, for sure. This interplay of technology, trust, and traditional finance is, well, it's a thrilling time to be following these developments.
Absolutely, and this dynamic, fast paced merging of sectors is setting up the stage for what could be the next big revolution in global finance.
Yep, thanks for this deep dive. It's been enlightening to unpack how Tether not only redefines digital finance, but also challenges conventional monetary hierarchies.